What's going on, guys? It's been a really long time since I actually made a video, not a live video where I was doing support, yelling at people. This video, I'm gonna start making a different, a transition sort of. I'm still gonna do like breakup videos. I'm still gonna do like helping with no contact and stuff like that. I'm still gonna do that stuff. But I took a little bit of time off this channel to think about, I put myself into what Sam Ovens calls the chaos mode, where you get out of the regiment, you get out of the routine, and then you think about what you're going to do next. And basically what I did is I said, okay, where do I want to take this channel? What do I see this becoming? Because it really became a breakup channel. It became a place where people could come for help, obviously, and that's great. And I would indirectly steer them into the masculine, right? Well, I also want to come forward with a lot of more masculine, straight up masculine subjects. Basically what I want to do is I want to talk about stoicism. I want to talk about productivity. I want to talk about health soon, right? And I want to talk about my journey and my lack thereof progress with that. And look, I can relate to you guys with that kind of stuff, right? I'm very straight to the point when it comes to breakup stuff, because I know that, like, I know what works and I know it's just a mental challenge. I just wanted to give you guys kind of an update and let you guys know that I'm going to start making videos again. I'm going back into the regiment mode and going back into the Bam Bam videos, coming out with like 3 or 4 of them per day, getting content out there for you guys. So the first video that I want to come out with, and thank you for listening for this almost 2-minute rant about the future of the videos. Charlie Munger said, many hard problems are best solved when they are addressed backwards. So you guys can use this to understand almost everything. And I think I did this by default, right? By accident in my own life. So let me give you guys an example of how you guys can use this, especially you guys going through breakups right now. The first thing that you want to do when you go through a breakup is blame the other person. And this isn't directly going with what he is saying, I guess, in my own head. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but it's all interpretation, right? So let's look at what people do immediately. They always blame other people. They blame everyone else around them. They blame the external. They blame society. They blame millennials. They blame boomers. They blame everybody, right? So and just to give you the real point real quick without no bullshit, it all comes down to you. You know what I'm saying? So let me tell you why, because that's where the real juice and meat and potatoes of what my content is supposed to be bringing to you guys, right? Why do I do this shit? And you guys need to know why, not just how, you know? And before I go forward, Tactical Soap, pick it up, links in the description below. So that shit's good, man. So anyway, why does it begin with you? When you go out with a girl, you go out with her, you're attracted to her, she's attracted to you. You guys discover things about each other. Why does a woman date you? Because she's interested in you. She wants to see where it's going to go. She wants to see what you're all about. It's about discovery and experience. Life is just experiences. Experience after experience after experience, okay? So if you look at it that way, you have to understand no human being, woman or man, wants to be with somebody else that isn't making progress, that's insecure. They don't want to be with people like that. And what do I always say? The two things, right, that women break up with men for, because this is a men's channel, is insecurity and complacency. Why would a woman want to be with a man who's insecure about himself? It's just ugly. So guys can handle it about their women a lot better than women can handle it about their men. So, and then complacency is probably the number one killer of relationships. And usually what ends up happening too is the man will get complacent, and then she's like, you know what, I'm done with you. Then he gets insecure. So it's like a double whammy effect, right? So let's reverse engineer it. If you think about it, if you think about the relationship breaking up being your fault, and you're like, instead of blaming the other person, this is kind of like the inverse, looking at it backwards. Let's see, what decisions did you make every single day to make yourself and the relationship better? Relationships are about giving. Were you there to take? Were you really giving to your ex? Were you really, thinking of like, were you using your imagination to make them feel special? look, you don't need to do this every single day, because if you do, she'll get sick of it. It's almost like a relationship is an art. It's a balance, right? So look at it as if, you know, it all comes onto you. And that's freeing, because when you do take your own blame and you take extreme ownership of the reason why you're here in this situation, you can fix the one thing that you can control, which is you. When you start putting blame onto everybody else, you give them power. You're taking power away from yourself and you're giving it to other people, and then you're hating them for it. Does that make sense? Why would you want to do that? So again, look at why. It's easier to blame somebody else. It's easier to blame your ex. It's easy to blame your parents. It's easy to blame her parents. It's easier to blame everyone, right? See, this can go on forever and ever. So do the reverse. Blame it on yourself. And I'm not saying that, okay, and this has to be said because everyone's going to, we're in this culture and in this fucking society now where I can say one thing, and because I said that, I also have to say something like this. Of course, there are some relationships that just end and it has nothing to do with you as a man. Let's get that out of the way, because there's going to be some fucking guys in here commenting and they're going to be like, hey, you know, it's not always the fucking man's fault. Like, no shit, okay? But most of the time, it is. Most of the time, it really is. After all the coaching that I've done and after all of the blame shifting that I see them doing, and then when I reframe it into a way where they're like, yeah, you know what? I wasn't paying attention to her. You know what? I didn't take care of my own business. I relied on her too much for entertainment and what we're gonna do that day instead of me taking the lead, right? So then those are just like what, 3 of like 100 different things that you can say. Any problem that you have in your life, do not. And this video really should be like, don't put blame on others, really. But this can be applied to anything. What can you do to look at the problem in the other way? And guess where it always starts? It's always with you, right? So, okay, your finances aren't in place. I always put this in there, or your body is not in place. Whose fault is that? It's not anybody else's, it's yours, right? So look at it like, what can you do to control your present moment, and how will that affect your future? Who do you want to become? How do you want to become a strong centered man who never has an issue with girls, or do you want to be a slave to your impulses? Do you want to be a slave to do you always want to have instant gratification? Because that gets you nowhere, right? So just remember, many hard problems are best solved when they are addressed backwards. And I think I've done this in my life almost by accident. So take a look at your life and look at it and say, look, what are my immediate responses? Why do I do what I do? And how can I change this? And guess what? It always comes down to you, fellas. It always comes down to you, and it always comes down to the decisions that you make every day. 5-year goals, 10-year goals. You've probably heard me say maybe even think about doing 5-year goals. It's really just a jerk-off contest, okay? A 5-year goal, you don't even know who you're going to be in 5 years, but what you need to really change is what you do daily. Who you are every day is what you do every single day, right? What do you do? What kind of decisions do you make? If you watch fucking Netflix and play video games all day, you're never going to be a rich person. You're never going to be a well-rounded, developed individual if you're completely using all the time that you have in your 24 hours, maybe like 18 to 16 hours, where you're not asleep. You know, if you're just wasting it, right? There was like a 2-week period where I didn't waste a single hour. I didn't. I just fucking did what I had to do. And I became like this monster, like not in a bad way. Like I was just beasting it. I got so much shit done in that 2 weeks, and like and I got out of it, and I was like, how do I get back there, right? It's just, you are what you do daily. And sometimes you're going to realize that being with a woman or going back to your ex or doing anything like that, it's just a bad idea. Like they're not in the same direction as you. They're not on the same path as you. So think about that kind of stuff, guys. Think about what you can control and what you can change. I love you guys. All the coaching is down below, by the way. So if you guys want to talk to me one-on-one, email, or if you want me to do a voice recorded or video recorded message, I will do that for you. If you guys need my help, I am here. So Down below, description box, check out the James Bond shit. It's good stuff. Tactical Soap, those guys are awesome. Done.